All right, I'll try not to take too much of your time. We can get started right away. So, this is for a management class, so most of the questions are going to be like how you go about managing your employees, evaluating them, and stuff like that.
Sweet.
Um, but to start off, could you just introduce yourself? Like, what's your name? What's your company? What's your title and position at the company and all of that?
Yeah, for sure. So, just making funny noise. All right. Yeah. So my name is Joe Strada. My wife and I own Unleashed Strength Gym in Manassas Park. Technically, she is the CEO. I am the over here at the gym. But yeah, I run all the day-to-day operations and um, not day-to-day operations, just all the operations at the gym, and manage our employees, our trainers, any kind of scheduling, cleaning, that kind of thing. So yeah.
Awesome. And how many employees do you currently have,
So we
approximately?
currently, besides myself, just have one other W-2 employee, and then I have six 1099 who contract trainers.
And what type of work do your employees typically do? Is it more front desk or mostly personal training?
Sure. So my W-2s are all basically myself and my one other staff member who is a W-2. We take all the basically anything that needs to get done to run the actual gym itself. So that's going to be any admin work, paperwork, signing members up, updating payments, admin, email, social media, that kind of stuff is all going to be considered under W-2 stuff. And then the 1099 contract positions are all my trainers. They do function more independently, so I don't set their schedules. I don't tell them, we give them guidelines on how to train. Obviously, there's certain standards to follow and that kind of thing, but they're in control of, the actual training sessions and their schedules and stuff like that. And they handle all of our one-on-one, small group, and online training within the gym.
Awesome. And you said there's certain standards that they have to meet. Do you ever do like performance reviews or anything like that? Have any form of meeting system where you like discuss how they've been doing and what you'd like to see going forward and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. So it's actually super interesting. So we have a very we've only kind of more recently gotten into this whole into that the past. So I'm actually having my first round of it's good timing performance reviews starting next week. So uh we've been training now. We basically when we first started the gym, we everyone was kind of doing their own thing, not under us. And so once we brought them in under the gym to manage all our training and our trainers there, we that's what we started kind of going through. Like, all right, um, we're gonna have all the payments and all the training scheduled through us, and then contract the workout to you guys to actually fulfill the sessions and programming and that kind of thing. So doing that obviously requires a certain consistency that we want to deliver to our members so that and the clients that are getting consistent and high quality actual training. So there's definitely we do monthly meetings, just kind of all hands meetings, just to kind of review the previous month. We talk about kind of from a business perspective, but also just like best practices. We have a certain SOP or standard operating procedure that what training looks like for especially one-on-one and small group sessions, how that functions, how that works, what the goals are, how to run sessions, what the beginning looks like, what the middle looks like, what the end looks like, how you should scheduling your session, the next session before you leave that session. So a lot of little details that we like to go over, and we'll kind of remind people or go over maybe problem areas or updates to those standard to that SOP. Then from a performance perspective, that's actually like so we're gonna kind of more diving into this year of like okay now we're setting certain things that we're looking for in benchmarks. A lot of that is going to be based off, obviously, just like standards of uh, basically time and professionalism. So timeliness, professional delivery, and also tracking and measuring results. So as we do want to make sure that the clients coming in are getting the results out that they wanted and having a more robust system for actually structuring that. So basically, we're going to be setting the standard next week for kind of certain benchmarks that we want to see everyone hitting going forward. And again, that kind of if there are issues with people being tardy or if there are issues with like bad kind of documentation with like, hey,
Yeah.
updating memberships, that kind of thing. And I've had to issue a few refunds this month because, we weren't staying on top of updating memberships, that kind of thing. That, those are issues that would come up that would be discussed, and then like, hey, here's what we're going to do moving forward. And then it also allows us to talk over the next like long term, because I got some guys who are more part-time, just kind of filling in a couple groups to make a few bucks on the side. I got other guys who are like full-time trainers and want to make this a career. So looking forward from like a, hey, this is what we're doing from a career perspective. Here's what I want. I want to stay here for the next 5 or 10 years or whatever. Like, okay, what does that look like for you, and how can we get you to where we want you to go? And like, what do we need to see from you to kind of get you to where you want to go?
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. And then I know you do a lot around the gym, like you're always there fixing stuff, replacing things, all that. How do you go about deciding what's worth your time to do personally and what tasks you would delegate to someone else to do?
That's a good question, and it's actually one of the things that's been probably the one of the biggest struggles, and something that I struggle with still, is like really, really figuring out what needs to be delegated and what needs to be on me, and what am I like. So one of the things, recently that was kind of advised to me was like, what are the things that you're really avoiding doing consistently and that are, you need to get done that are not getting done. And for me, one of those things was lead nurturing, basically. So we have a good amount of leads that come in every month of new people, whether it's visitors, whether it's from our ads that we run, whether it's Google searches, that kind of thing. We get collect contact information, and really, that's something that needs to be really well managed, because, or else you're just leaving a lot of money on the table. These are people who are actively looking for your services and what you provide. And if you are not connecting with them consistently, usually 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, it's how long it takes sometimes to get responses from people who are, very cold leads. And so if you're not consistently reaching out, calling, texting, following up. Even people come in for a tour and they don't sign up that day, following up within the day after or whatever. So that was a big one that I was not getting to, and I did not like it because it was so time consuming to really do it right. And honestly, it was just pretty. Sorry, someone's calling me. Pretty exhausting too, just like spitting, even just when I would do it for 2 or 3 hours in a row, like being on the phone call after phone call and texting and
Yeah.
everything, it's a lot. And then, even if nothing comes out of it, it's like, oh man, felt like a waste of time. But I knew it was important because I knew there was a lot of money being left on the table with these leads. So that was something last year that I completely offloaded and ended up hiring a virtual assistant for, just to completely take over that, because I knew it was one of these things that was, very obviously money making,
Hmm.
worth the investment, but something that I didn't have the time to do properly. So I think ultimately it comes down to prioritizing the tasks that need to be done, either from like a operations standpoint or from like a business growth standpoint. And then it's like, okay, what are the things of those things, what am I not consistently getting done? And how can I start offloading those things? Because if they're consistently not getting done and they're holding you back from your growth or from like doing things the right way, then it's like, okay, it needs to be delegated. So
Yeah.
and honestly, talking through this is very helpful for me now too, because it's just like from a frame of reference, like, okay, there are other things that I'm thinking of currently that I'm like, I need to, start getting better at either doing them myself or figuring out how to delegate them
Yeah.
quickly.
Awesome. Thank you. That's all the questions I have. Thank
Oh,
you so
sweet.
much for getting on this with me.
Yeah, of course, man. If there's any other questions or follow-ups, let me know. But happy to always, talk about it. This past year or so has been like super good business growth and mindset wise for me. So always happy to share that
That's
insights
great.
and whatever.
Yeah. Thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, Dan. Of course, man. We'll hope to see you soon and good luck on the project.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, peace, man. You too.